Greetings. This is part 154 of God's chain of events. Moving on to the 13th chapter of Nehemiah, starting at the first verse. On that day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonites and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of God forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our God turned the curse into a blessing. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. And before this, Elisha the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, was allied unto Tobiah, and he had prepared for him a great chamber, where aforetime they laid the meat offering, the frankincense, and the vessels, and the tithes of the corn, the new wine, and the oil, which was commanded to be given to the Levites, and the singers, and the porters, and the offerings of the priests. But in all this time was not I at Jerusalem, for in the 32nd year of Artaxerxes, king of Babylon, came I unto the king, and after certain days obtained I leave of the king. And I came to Jerusalem, and understood of the evil that Elisha did for Tobiah, in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of God. And it grieved me sore. Therefore I cast forth all the household stuff out of Tobiah, out of the chamber. Then I commanded, and they cleansed the chamber, and thither brought I again the vessels of the house of God, with the meat offering and the frankincense. And I perceived that the portion of the Levites had not been given them. For the Levites and their singers that did the work were fled every one to his field. Then contended I with the rulers, and said, Why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together, and set them in their place. Then brought all Judah the tithe of the corn, and the new wine, and the oil unto the treasuries. And I made treasuries over the treasuries. I made treasurers over the treasury. And Shelemiah the priest, and Zadok the scribe, and of the Levites, Pedaiah, and next to them was Hanan the son of Zachar, the son of Mattaniah, for they were counted faithful, and their office was to distribute unto their brethren. Excuse me. Remember me, O God, remember me, O my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God, and for the offices thereof. In those days saw I in the Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and laden ashes, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold unto the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and Jerusalem. Then I contended with them, with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, What evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your father thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gate, that there should no burden be brought in or on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them, and said unto them, Why lodge ye about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth they came no more on the Sabbath. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates to sanctify the Sabbath day. Remember me, O my God, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of thy mercy. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and Ammon and of Moab, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even he did outlandish women cause him to sin. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause him to sin. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our God, in marrying strange wives? And one of the sons of Jehoiada, son Elisha, the high priest, was son-in-law of Sanballat, the Horonite. Therefore I chased them from me. Remember them, O my God, because they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. Thus cleansed I them from all strangers, and appointed the ward of the priests, and the Levites every one in his business, and for the wood offering at times appointed, and for the first fruit. Remember me, O God, for good. Starting at the first chapter of Esther. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces, that in those days when the king of Assyrius sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and the princes of the province, being before him. When he shewed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty, many days, even 180 days. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace, both unto great and small. 7 days in the court of the 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace, where were white, green, and blue hangings, fastened with cords of fine linen, and purple, 2 silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver, upon a pavement of red, and blue, and white, and black, marble. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law; none did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also Vashti, queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus, on the 7th day. When the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mahutma, Bithra, Harbona, Bitha, and Agbitha, and Zatha, and Cargus, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king, with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlain. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all the new law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Athama, Tarshish, Meresh, Marishna, and Mumukan, the seven princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which said the first in the kingdom, which sat first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashta according to law, because she had not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? The, and Mechman answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the province of the king Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. And when the king decree, and when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give their husband honor both to great and small. And the saying pleased the king, and the princes and the king did according to the word of Mukmakan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. We're going to stop here and start part 155 in the next message. View part 155. Thank you.